all in all, just he was just one step ahead of me in traffic.
We'll go to Jenna next.
Jennifer, Kevin, you finished second 10 times now this year. Does that suck? Does that get frustrating?
Well, I can tell you that we finished 39th at Michigan and 39th here, and that wasn't near as cool as finishing second. You know, I think you have to put it all in perspective, and you know, I think when you're you know, I've been in a position where you're fighting for your life to run 15th, and I know that the momentum and just as it did last year, we were kind of in this little slump, and this isn't really a slump. This is just kind of circumstances we you know, self-created tonight with 2 penalties on pit road, but still in the end those circumstances have kept us from winning some races, and we've had lug nuts knock valve stems off twice, and we were leading an engine blow up, but you know, when you're in position to do that and finish second 10 times and win a couple of races, and that's half the races that we've run so far. So it's I'm honored to drive the car. I'm not frustrated at all, because you know, I've been on the other side of this fence, and you'd give everything in the world to finish second every week, because it's not easy. I mean, this is a hard sport, and to go to all these different types of racetracks and see the success that the team has, I couldn't be prouder of all the guys on my team and to drive the cars, because I know that at any moment you can rattle off 2 or 3 wins in a row, or you know, at any type of racetrack. So it's fun.
Any final questions? We'll go back to Jenna for a follow-up.
Denny, did you expect a JGR car to win tonight?
I thought we all had a great shot for sure, but this track changes so much. I mean, we practice in the mornings, track's not rubbered up, and then we practice in the middle of the afternoon, and the track's rubbered up, but it's hotter. So the conditions, everything changes so much at night here that you can't just think that because you're really good in practice, you're going to be good in the race here. So I think, did I expect it? No, but I thought it was probable.
We'll go to Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Both of you guys, I think, are testing at Homestead this coming week. I know it's an off week, but it seems like it's still a pretty pivotal test, given that's the championship round.
There's no off weeks in racing, only for you guys.
Oh, yeah. What are you guys looking to for Homestead, and can that be a real indicator of who's going to be strong for the championship round?
I think that's a lot like what he just said. You know, you're going to go there and, you know, you're not going to have a lot of rubber on the racetrack. You're going to need to run right up against the wall to really analyze what you have. You're going to practice during the day, but in the end, it's better to have that track map and those data points and all the things that you have to have a starting point when you go back and be able to run through some things and just kind of have an idea and go back and look at what you've done in the past. So it's better to know, you know, just from a data standpoint, and have that data than it is to not. So you hope that you're going to be there and you can use it and be able to benefit from it if you need it.
Yeah, I don't know as a driver if it's a benefit, but more so for the team for sure. The data that they can collect is very, very important. And I know last year when we tested Homestead before the final race, it paid dividends. We ran really well. So, I mean, you know, what we're testing there for, I'm not sure if it's tire test or just a confirmation test, or I don't even know what the difference is really nowadays. So we'll just, it's confirmation, okay? So gotcha. So we're just going to run a bunch of laps, pretty much.
All right, Denny and Kevin, thank you for joining us tonight. Todd Gordon and Vice Chairman of Team Penske, Walter Czarnecki. Todd, Joe Gibbs Racing, the heavy favorites tonight. Tell us about your team's preparation this weekend and ability to find victory lane at the end of the night.
Yeah, I felt like when we came in the weekend, and this is one of those racetracks that once a driver and a team figures out what they need to be successful, you can focus on that. And in practice, we weren't necessarily the fastest car here, but we had pretty good speed, and we had the right balance, and that's something that we built off of, and felt like in happy hour we really hit on something, and we worked on that, and obviously qualified. We didn't qualify in a pole, but we had a flat tire in the first session, so I thought that was a really good recovery for the guys to have a right rear going down and figure out how to get through the round to get another tire on. And fifth place qualifying effort was an accomplishment for the team and what they did. So pretty proud of everybody there, and pretty proud of the execution tonight. Joey definitely had long run speed, and those couple long runs that we had, it went almost 100 laps. We were really strong in the last half of it.
And Walt, this is the team's second win in 3 races. Talk about the team's performance here lately and the win tonight.
Well, I think the resurgence, I'll call it, after the first third of the season, which was pretty good after Daytona, of course, went into a little bit of a dry spell, but I think from a Team Penske perspective, things started to come together at Kentucky. And I think that for those last, 6 races now, we've been in contention. We've won 2 of them and had the real opportunity to win those races as well. So I want to congratulate Todd and Joey, of course, for what they did tonight. Talking to Todd before the race, I told him upstairs a minute ago that he exuded a confidence and a sense of preparation that we were going to be able to compete and compete effectively. They executed and demonstrated it beautifully.
We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Please state your name and affiliation. We'll start up here with Bob and then go behind Bob.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. Todd, was that the best race Joey's ever driven?
Wow. He performed flawlessly. Best race he's ever driven. I don't know. Daytona was pretty phenomenal, but it was a typical Joey Logano performance. It's I said it in Victory Lane. It's I'll put the analogy to basketball, but there's only a handful of guys that want to have the ball in their hands with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and Joey's that guy. He when it comes down to the time to make it happen, he elevates. Doesn't make mistakes. I think Kevin challenged us pretty formidably, and Joey never folded in it, never made a mistake, and did what he had to do and executed. And it's a Joey Logano performance. I don't know that I call it his best performance. He's had a bunch of really good ones.
Todd, excuse me. I just one word came to mind, Bob, too, and watching those last 50 laps, the word was poise. He just didn't lose his composure. Mm-hmm. And using Todd's analogy, Todd handed him the football and he found the holes.
Mm-hmm.
Deb Williams, RacingToday.com, and this could kind of continue with what you're talking about, the poise and all, but Team Penske has now won 3 of the last 5 night races here at Bristol. What do you attribute that to, and do you think it is because of the poise that Brad and Joy both exhibit in the night race?
I would say that we've got, this place to be successful here takes the complete package, and there's several opportunities to make mistakes, and if you execute, you can be successful. But both of our drivers challenge each other. I think when you look at our setups, we build off each other. I think to the point of it is Team Penske. We share a lot of information between the 2 teams, and when you've got 2 teams attacking it and 2 drivers like we've got, I mean, Brad and Joey are both phenomenal race car drivers, and they challenge each other, but constructively. I think that's
my view. So, and I think the whole organization feels that way. But I think it really began with Rusty, and the way Rusty focused on this event when he was driving.
We'll go up to the press box for a question.
Lisa Spencer, motorsport.com. For Todd, you know how critical it is in the pits. We saw a lot of loose tires tonight, and how much has this lug nut rule that they instituted of late had to do with the rash of lug nut incidents that we have seen in the pits with the loose tires and everything? I mean, it cost a lot of people tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it may be a factor in it. This place itself is rough on wheels. It's just it's a place that, you know, you've got so much lateral load in the car, and there's so much drive and brake, and you know, it's 500 laps of a lot of load on the especially rear wheels. So you'll see if you're going to have a weakness, if you're borderline on having wheels torqued every week, it's going to show up here. You've got a lot of gear in the car, and you got a lot of acceleration, a lot of deceleration, a lot of lateral load. It's a really, really high lateral load place with all the banking that's in the corners and running right up there in the grip strip up there at the wall. So I'm sure that, you know, the lug nut rule has a slight impact on that, but I'd say there's a bigger impact of this racetrack's just rough on rear wheels.
Any final questions for Walt or Todd? We'll go on the back to Mike and then up to Jim Utter.
This is for Todd. Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com. We saw some cars that were quick on short run and fell off on a long run. Other people were slow on a short run but picked up speed on the long run. You've all theoretically got the same tire compound. How can you explain that some people run faster at the beginning and others run faster at the end?
Yeah, there's several factors that play into that. I think you know, it's air pressure in tires, it's camber settings in tires as to what you're doing to make a short run speed versus long run speed. I think you know, how your splitter is off the racetrack. When you see tires build up through you look at these cars and the rotors are glowing in them, and glowing rotors are 1,400 degrees. So there's a big heat source in the middle of it, which builds the tire pressure up a bunch. As the tires build up, then the whole ride height of the car comes up, and if the splitter's on the racetrack, it makes them tight. So there may be guys that early in the run they're on a splitter and they just can't turn the way they need to make speed. But as the tires build up from the rotor heat and just from the grip heat, that splitter comes up and gets to a happy spot, and then their car works. So you'll see that, and that's stuff that we all work on as race teams as to how we feel the race strategy will play out to long runs and short runs, of whether you want to be good in a short run or good in the long run. I felt like the Gibbs cars were a little quicker than we were firing off, but about 50 laps in, we could run them back down. And we just, I feel like there's several pieces there we had different philosophies on.
We'll go to Jim for our final question.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. For both of you, we've often all talked about how sometimes people forget that Joey is just 25 because he's actually had so many years in the Cup Series. But in the progress that he's made in the relatively short time that he's been at Team Penske and the work that you two have done together, is it hard to get a grasp on what his potential may be?
It's exciting to get a grasp on what his potential could be. He is 25 years old, but he's much mature beyond that age. Got put in a Cup car at 18, so he's 25 years old with 7 years experience of understanding what it takes to be successful, and made the chase all 3 years at Penske, and executing. I think you saw that in his nationwide performances before he got here, that he was a closer, and he's so mature beyond his years at 25. I'm thrilled at what the future brings for us.
I think that Joey has a great sense of self. He does not have an inflated, in my view, doesn't have this inflated image of himself. He knows what his limitations are. He stays within his limitations. He listens to people like Todd because he knows he has, they have his welfare at heart, and he doesn't extend beyond it. I think it's interesting, just an observation I shared with someone a few minutes ago, that when I listened to the dialogue between Todd and Joey during the race, Joey doesn't say a whole lot if you listen. He knows that he's executing. He has a great deal of confidence in Todd. So that's a person who's got a great, as I said, a sense of self, that he doesn't know better. He realizes he's part of the team, and he's not trying to extend beyond it. Having said that, he has tremendous potential. Tremendous potential. But right now, I think we're going to worry about Darlington, right?
We're going to work on Homestead Test on Wednesday, right. And then we're going to worry about Darlington.
All right, Walt and Todd, thank you for joining us tonight, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
We are now joined by our race winner, Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. Joey, this is your second consecutive Irwin Tools night race victory. Tell us about your race and holding off Kevin Harvick's challenges.
I was that I'm ready to go racing and race for championships, and back then I wasn't. And I definitely learned a lot. I wouldn't trade those years for $1 million. It was such a fun learning experience over there, and really shaped me into the person and the driver that I am, and I owe him a lot for that. But, like I said, I'm fortunate to drive for a couple great teams, and working with Team Penske and Roger, and, everyone on this 22 team has been a blessing, to say the least. It's just such a great group of guys that, I say this all the time, that there's no one hero on the team. Together we make a hero, and I'm pretty proud of how we work together as a team. It's something I really put a lot of pride into, and what our guys are able to accomplish there. And you think of the pressure that these guys had to go through when you come down pit road there with a few laps to go, and they bust off an 11-second pit stop. That's because they're athletes. That's a true athlete, is when you can not choke under pressure. And I couldn't be more proud of those teams, or my team.
We'll go back to the press box.
Chris Knight, CatchFans.com. Joey, can you talk about your relationship with Spotter Tabloid? Seemed like he helped a lot tonight with executing traffic and keeping Harvick at bay.
Yeah, Tab and I, we spent a lot of time together. We were up there in the spotter stand last night watching the Xfinity race together, and we were joking around a lot because I'm very animated, and I'm up there watching a race, and I turn into a complete race fan, and I'm pointing at things and bumping into everyone. And he said probably the spotter stand is probably not a good place for me because I can't sit still. But we go up there and watch races together when we can, and be able to talk about it. And the way we're able to learn and tell him what I need as a driver is that we got to communicate. And it's worked for us. I tell him what I need to have the right information at the right time, so I can make the best decisions inside the race car.
We'll go to Bob, Dustin, and then Jay.
Bob. Any temptation to try?
Has done a great job at really understanding what that is, and giving me the right tool inside the race car to be able to make these make our race car fast. And that seemed to work for us. It doesn't work the whole race. There's definitely times that I had to try running the radius off the corner because it's faster, and you got to be able to do that too. So you got to have a car that can move around. Especially when you're lapping cars and stuff, you got to have a car that can round the bottom, that can have everything you need. And last few races here, he's definitely given me the car I needed to make the moves.
Dustin
Long, NBC Sports. Obviously, a lot of discussion in the drivers' meeting tonight about restarts. Can you give a sense of what it was like tonight? Was it any different from what it's been in terms of how it was policed? And if so, how might it impact things in future races if this is how NASCAR is going to do things?
There's a lot of questions. I spent a lot of time with NASCAR this week actually trying to understand what I can and can't do, and being able to understand where their heads at and what they're thinking when they look at a restart and what's right and what's wrong, and what they're going to police and what they're not going to police, and you just gotta understand the rules, and they're always subject to change. I think there's can we do a better job on restarts? Yes. Are they that bad? No, they're not that bad. They're the restarts are still entertaining. We've seen guys 24 was really good on the inside of me tonight, and we were door to door into the corner, and so restarts obviously are a big part of our races a lot of times. So obviously we put a lot of effort into them. And as a driver, you just want to know what the rules are and what you can and can't do. And the more you can just communicate and talk about it like anything else and try to understand that, the better. I have more clarity. Yeah. Yeah. No, I have clarity. I talked to him. I talked to the people I needed to talk to, and got an answer out of them, and that's all I was looking for.
We'll go to Jay.
Jay Pennell, Fox Sports. We saw from the in-car at Watkins Glen when you won, kind of waving your finger at Harvick. You raced really hard to hold him off. You guys have had a contentious past. Does it feel better to beat him out of any of the other 42 guys or 41 guys out there? Or is it you race a little bit harder when you're racing him for the win, or is it just bygones be bygones?
I don't care who the heck I'm racing. I can tell you that much right now. There's 42 other drivers out there that are really, really good, and a lot of them are capable of winning a race. And I don't care who it is. I'm going to race them hard for a win. Kevin and I are fierce competitors, and we race each other hard. But tonight we raced each other really clean, and that's something that's really cool. Obviously I remember that, and you can race back and forth like that, and that's the way we should race. But to answer your question, I don't care. I don't care who I'm racing. It's all about the win, and I don't care if I had to beat my sister to win the race. It doesn't matter,
Any final questions for Joey? We'll go to the back to Mike, Bob, and finish up with Jim.
Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com. Joey, we hear a lot of talk throughout the sport of how racing at the front is different from racing in the back. And with 25, maybe 20 laps to go, Harvick had a run on the bottom, and the way you were diming in the corner, you came down across his nose, and that kind of caused him to have to check up and may have even cost him the race. By the time he got back to you, the laps were pretty much done. Is it a fact that you've won enough now, that you've run at the front enough, that you have that respect for each other and you can trust that they're going to run you the way you would run them?
Yeah, I mean, you're working your way through the traffic, and you he's ready to pounce at any moment. So one little mistake I make, boom, he's going to be there, and he's going to try to fill the hole, and he's going to try to pin me behind a lap car. That's how you pass here. I was fully expecting that. That corner, he's seen that I entered high, and he tried to execute that move. I seen it, but I also had to get the run that I was going to get by running down the hill and straighten out the exit and passing a car. So at that point he was going to have to slow down because he had to round the corner still, where I already got my turning done, and I was able to get the reward on the exit from running the top and running that line. And right move by him, right move by me. We're just trying to try to match each other's moves and trying to stay out in front or pass each other.
We'll go to Bob, and then final question to Jim.
Bob Hockress, ESPN. Considering just how many laps, lap after lap after lap, that you had to hold off Harvick, where would this rank as far as your driving performances?
I don't know. I don't know. It's obviously it's cool to win at Bristol. It's cool to get a break. So Bristol, you start the race and say, "Oh boy, this is going to be a long one." You know it's going to be a tough, grueling race, but it puts on a great race, and I enjoy coming here. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I don't know where it stacks up, on all of it, but I went well. I guess it goes up, stacks up there somewhere.
Jim
Utter, motorsport.com. Walt was asked when he was in here earlier to kind of talk about what stood out with your performance, and he said the one thing that came to mind tonight was your poise. I just wondered, you're 25, but you've raced 7 full-time seasons now in Cup. Is poise something that you think you've always had as a driver, or is it something that's kind of developed over time, and how difficult is it to kind of maintain that, particularly in a place like this?
I think my dad always told me you are who you hang out with, and if you're hanging out with people like Roger Penske and Team Penske, that's a lot of poise, to say the least. And I learned a lot from them, and I try not to get fired up inside the race car. A lot of times I don't, because I see the bigger picture. I just want to get through it. We'll be fine. We had a little hiccup on one pit stop tonight. No big deal. Everything's okay. We'll get through it, and and those are opportunities to completely throw a race away. You can completely destroy a team. You can destroy, as a driver, you're one of the leaders, and you have the power to destroy a race team or build a race team, and I think, I understand that, and I think that's, something that's helped us a lot. But, I think of qualifying. It happened this week, and we had a flat right rear tire. We were able to just execute through the first round and be able to put a scuff on it so we can finish qualifying, and we qualified 5th. We barely made it through the first round because the tire was seeping 15 pounds in 2 laps. So and none of us got fired up. It's funny. I told Todd not to tell me anything. I said, I heard it was a flat tire. I said, I don't want to know anything. Don't tell me what corner it is. Don't tell me a thing. Just let me go out there and drive the car. Don't tell me what your plan is. And but that's where we're at with things. I trust Todd 100% in every decision he makes. I trust my team 100% in everything they do. I put my money on them coming down pit road at the end of a race, and having that faith in your team obviously gives you poise and allows us all to do our job. We can start screaming and yelling, and then you kind of forget what the job is when you're screaming and yelling at each other.
All right, thanks, Joey, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you, guys.